Welcome to another edition of the Xceleration Fitness Podcast. This is a huge, huge day. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we are on iTunes. It's official, baby.
Over a year later, but we finally got it on there.
This is technically our 45th or 46th episode, but this is episode number 4 for the year of 2018 with our new format. And today's guest, guys, I'm going to get to today's guest, but you guys, whatever you're doing right now, if you're in fitness, if you're in business, if you're a family man, family lady, whatever it is, just sit back, enjoy, because this guy is about to drop some serious knowledge and probably change your life with this podcast. No joke on that. Before I get to him, though, I got to give props to my partner here. My partner. Wow. Okay. My man right here, John Papp, because today is John Papp's 3-year anniversary as a personal trainer with Xceleration Fitness. Huge, huge, huge testament to who he is. A lot of you guys don't know this, but John came to me as an intern asking to work for free. No education, no nothing. Just want to get in it. And 3 years later, dude's here. So props to John Papp. All right. I'm doing a lot of talking, but I'm going to shut up after this. On today's guest, guys, this guy is the reason Xceleration Fitness exists. This guy is the reason for hundreds, literally hundreds of personal trainers all over the world. This guy is straight up legacy. So this guy's name is Justin Grinnell. He's the owner of State of Fitness Gym, which is in Okemos, Michigan. If you're ever in that area, you guys got to see that gym. It's where I got my start. It's an amazing gym. He is an author. He has published over 75 articles, 75, ladies and gentlemen, in magazines like Muscle and Fitness, Breaking Muscle, you name it, Men's Health. The guy is everywhere. He's also a speaker for the National Fitness Business with Thomas Plummer. He is a Perform Better speaker, and to elaborate on that, every trainer pretty much in the world, when they go to get certified, they go to hear these guys speak at Perform Better Summits, and Justin Grinnell is one of those guys that speaks there. He is an Alloy Master Coach. This guy has been in the game since 2002, and to be in the fitness game that long, that's 16 years, is a true testament to his passion, to his knowledge, to exactly what he wants to do. The guy started, think about this. Everyone says to be a master at something, you need 10,000 hours. He has over 30,000 hours. Not only does he have that, but he started an internship program that got me started. And that internship program has grown to impact over 300 personal trainers in his time. The dude is straight up legacy. He's the reason why I'm talking on this microphone right now. He's the reason for a lot of coaches' success. Without further ado, Mr. Justin Grinnell.
Oh, man. What an intro, Ben. I think it's the best intro I've ever had on a podcast. I've been on a few, too.
I've been working on that all week, so thank you.
That was, no joke, his longest intro for anyone that we've had yet in 45 episodes.
It's true, nice. Man. Actually, this is video, so I wrote that down with that good handwriting. I've never written an intro.
He never does that.
No. Never.
Nice. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. We wish we could have you back here as a trainer, but big-time guys like you move on. But, you worked hard for your spot here, and I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. All right, so as we do on every podcast, guys, we're going to ask Justin these questions to really get to know him, and I will post all these questions in the notes because it's official on iTunes. You guys can download this, share it, and definitely get to know Justin. So I'm going to have my man John Papp ask the first question. Let's roll.
All right, we're going to start off with, what is your favorite book or books, that you've given as a gift the most, or just your favorite in general?
Yeah, it's, of course, I don't read as much as I used to. I wish I read more, but so some impactful books, whether it's business, nutrition, and training. So I'll give you kind of one from each. And I think that, anybody, small business owner, has to read the E-Myth. That's one that definitely gave me a different mindset from going from a practitioner to a business owner. Being a good trainer, being able to, get their own clients, build their own kind of personal business. That was something that came natural, but understanding how to develop other people and develop a business that can work for you, that's a whole different story. One thing I heard a long time from Alan Cosgrove was, if you're working for yourself, you have a job. If you have other people working for you, making money for you, you have a business. And that mindset was pretty tough because I definitely, in the beginning of opening State of Fitness, I thought I could do everything myself, and it definitely wasn't the case. That's a big book that I've read. As far as training, I can't remember what year it was, but it was early on in my career. I read Mike Boyle's Functional Strength Conditioning. I forgot actually it's like the volume 1 he had. He has like 10 volumes now. And that just changed how I approach training. I came from a very bodybuilding dense background. They got in kind of the NASM kind of corrective stuff. And then when I saw what he was doing, that totally changed the way I trained. And then from there, I saw him perform better, and that really influenced my training model that we have today. And then another one, I'm going to kind of go 2 books. I read them at the same time in 2004, I believe, was Ultra Prevention by Dr. Mark Hyman, and On Target Living by Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson is actually a mentor of mine, and I'm actually working with him at On Target Living and his son Matthew, who would be two great people, at least Matthew, to get on your podcast, by the way. Yeah. And it just opened my eyes up to a whole new way to think about nutrition. Again, going back from that bodybuilding background and looking at how we ate there. And then when I saw what they were doing, it was huge. Also, the influence with Chris is that I saw he was local. He hired me at the Michigan Athletic Club, and I said, wow, someone local is doing this big time, writing books, speaking nationally. I want to do that. So it kind of came from a nutrition inspiration, but also an inspiration for my career going forward.
Wow. That's awesome. Can you give the audience kind of insight on your path? You said you were a trainer at the MAC. I got to share the story with you before you do it. I always remember when I first met you and I applied for the internship, Sam's roommate worked out at the MAC, and she's like, oh, Justin Grinnell? Oh, my God, I have the biggest crush on that guy. He looks just like Prince Eric. I had to share that with you.
I'll take it. I actually started at a place called Go Work Out on the west side of Lansing. It was formerly a Gold's Gym, and two guys, Rob Gale and Bill Phillips, I owe a lot to. They were guys that kind of lived the dream in Venice Beach and trained at the Gold's Gym, and then they came to Lansing, opened up the Gold's Gym, and had Go Work Out there. And I joined as a high schooler, and I would work out there in high school. And then when I was in college, I said, I worked at a GNC my freshman year. At the end, I said, man, I really want to do this fitness thing. So I changed my major, and I started training my brother for the Major League Draft. And he was at Western Michigan at the time, and he eventually got drafted by the Yankees. But then I said, man, I want to be a trainer. And so at 20 years old, I got certified and went to the owners and said, look, you don't have a trainer. Can I train? And they said, hop on in. So I was training for free most of the time, trying to get clients, but the reps I accumulated in college at the age of 20, I was training 20, 30 people a week just at that time. And I had no idea what I was doing. I just put on a good smile. I was fit, and I was the only game in town. And so I went after it. And then after that, about 2.5 years later, throughout that time, I worked at health food stores and worked for food science companies and a lot of that stuff. But I went to the MAC after that, and that changed my life because the Michigan Athletic Club has a rich history where it was the first training club or first personal training department to generate over $1 million in revenue. And that was by Chris Johnson, who I mentioned earlier. And so I knew I could succeed there. There was 12,000 members, and that's really the pivotal moment in my career when I got hired there, and that made a big difference.
That's awesome.
Damn. That's crazy, man. That's awesome. All right. Question number 2. What purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months?
Oh, man. $100 purchase in the last 6 months that impacted my life. I don't buy a lot of things, quite honestly. I spend most of my money on like supplements and food and high priced like juice drinks, like at the juice
typical
shop.
Meathead shit.
Like that. Right. So I don't buy too much stuff. What has impacted me the most? Oh my gosh. I don't think I've really made a purchase under $100 that impacted me that much, quite honestly. Really just different food supplements that help my body.
Okay. So let's kind of talk about that. Like what are your go-tos?
Yeah. So like I said, I don't buy a lot of stuff. So I'm pretty boring. My wife buys most of my clothes, and I bought a couple pairs of shoes, but what I do is I look at nutrition at, okay, what does my body need, right? And so I know that I need to get certain, phytonutrients, coenzymes, things like that. So I take spirulina, chlorella, and wheatgrass shots. I also take fish oil. I take turmeric. I take amino acid supplements. I take collagen peptides. I take vitamin D. I take probiotics. So and I've been doing almost the same regimen, give or take, 10, 15 years. I'm like Groundhog Day. I never miss a day. I travel with it. It gets expensive. And then, we got Whole Foods now, Ben, right across the street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I definitely spend probably too much money there. So that's kind of my spending is food. I guess what I could say what impacts me is when I buy my kids stuff. That's the biggest impact is because my kids are spoiled and they get all types of toys. Oh, no, I got it, Ben. I got my purchase, $4.99. on a Super Nintendo, got WrestleMania in 1991.
Whoa, damn, $4.99. That's all it was.
It was at this place, and so now my kids love wrestling. You'd love that. And we even went in Tampa when we were there a couple weeks ago. We went to there's a wrestling school in Tampa, like for WWE or whatever. I
saw that.
And we went to that, and so like they're all into wrestling and fighting, and I watch MMA all the time. So that's the most impactful purchase, because now we're running around pretending like we're Jake the Snake and Macho Man. And
dude.
So it's pretty sweet.
That's cool. All right, moving on here. So how has a failure, or apparent failure set you up kind of for later success in business or just life in general?
I think the biggest thing I didn't know when I got into the fitness business or just my own business in general is, I had interns and I managed them and things like that. But when we went on our scale of hiring managers, hiring trainers, is understanding how to be a better leader. And I think in the beginning, I didn't quite understand what that meant. I thought I was being a leader, but I didn't understand how to nurture those relationships with employees from a standpoint of maybe getting too close to that employee, doing things outside of the gym that maybe weren't appropriate with those trainers. So learning that was like, wow, I have to really be that person, that because I'm putting myself on a pedestal of being a training facility owner. I've got to be a leader for those people, not just a boss, and also understand to be able to cut that line of a friendship and a boss worker relationship. And so the first few years were definitely tough for that. Having your friends from another gym come with you over to build your facility and understanding those dynamics, that was a tough lesson. But I'm glad I went through it, because I learned so much. There was a lot of heartbreak in that, but that was probably, I don't know if it's necessarily a failure. It was just the unknown, right? But I definitely failed within that time. And now I feel like I have a better grasp on, okay, this is what we really need to do to build a good team.
So what advice can you give to somebody who owns a business and maybe they are friends with their employees and stuff like that? What do you tell yourself to draw that line?
I wish I would have went and talked to more people that have already done it. I didn't seek out until later on. Now I have a huge network of people I talk to that own gyms and things like that. But in the beginning, I wish I would have looked for more personal training facility owners or even gym owners and went and talked to them about that had been in the game 10, 20, even 30 years, to understand how they dealt with it. So that's what I wish I would have done, is sought out more help and kind of learned from their mistakes. And so I kind of had to do the school of hard knocks with that.
All right. That's good. If you could have a gigantic billboard, what would you put on it? Anywhere in the world. Let's put it in downtown New York City, Manhattan.
All right. So let's just say we're trying to promote myself or the state of fitness. I would put a quote by Samuel L. Beckett. And I would put that quote. It says, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better." And that's a quote I live by. Has kind of a relationship, because my son's name's Beckett. I almost got a tattoo of it. I still might. And I would put, because most people, unfortunately fail a lot with diets or nutrition or training or whatever his lifestyle, and kind of show people it's okay to do that. And then a picture of us, State of Fitness, we're here to help. So it's all right to fail, but you got to try again, fail better. Come see us. We're going to help you through it.
That's quick. Good. We're at the top of the dome, man. That's good.
That's good. All right. So what is one of the best investments you've made? Not necessarily financially, but, with your time, energy, it could be financially, anything, in that realm that's kind of helped you the most.
Well, I guess I'll give you two answers, because one is investing in my body, investing in me. I think, it's easy as a business owner, as anybody, to kind of get away from, taking care of your own self, your own health. So I've made some big changes in my personal life from a health standpoint that give me the ability to have, I'm going to use this word capacity, because one of my buddies, Chris Johnson and Matt Johnson, wrote a book on capacity. And I need to make sure that if I'm going to be able to, take care of my family, take care of my employees, take care of myself, I've got to have my body operating effectively. So I had 2 hip surgeries in the past 2.5 years. I have changed some things nutritionally, or things that I've put in my body, and also changed my workouts so that I can, have the capacity within myself, my own capsule, if you will, so I can do other stuff out there. Another investment is investing in relationships with people around the fitness community. I'm very fortunate enough to, my mentor, Tom Plummer, kind of named the most influential person in fitness industry. I've invested a lot of time working with him and working with others in that community. So from a business standpoint, and then from a personal standpoint, just making sure I'm taking care of myself too.
I think that's big. And, with all the time in today's society, we see, not enough time, and people neglect themselves. If you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to help anybody or take care of anyone.
Yeah, it's hard for us to grasp that. Even as trainers, I'll go to fitness summits or whatever, and you see people, and they'll admit, man, yeah, I'm not taking care of myself. Fabulous trainers, fabulous knowledge. They know what to do. I'm not giving other information, but I've consulted with other training facility owners, not just on their business, but with, how do you do it? How do you getting in your workouts? How do you keep the good nutrition, and how do you keep your body fat down? Because I feel like crap. And, so that's just something that, we all run into at some point in our life, and building a network that can help you fulfill that is pretty big.
Absolutely. Totally agree on that one, man. All right. So this is going to be fun. What is an unusual habit of Justin Grinnell? Do you have any weird quirks that no one knows about?
Well, maybe people know about it. Well, I walk fast, and I move fast, and I do things fast. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, but I'm always trying to get things done fast, move fast. By the time I get home, I'm already setting up my clothes out for the next day.
Wow.
Yep.
Setting all my supplements out for the next day. It's like, man, I got some, I don't know, anal retentive weird tendencies things I got to do, and to make myself feel good. And I'm sure it's annoying to some people, but sometimes I feel that habit of being too fast. Sometimes I need to slow down and make sure I listen to people and take time with people. So I'm trying to do 100 different things. And so slowing down, I guess, is a habit I'd like to build a little bit. But I don't know if it's a weird tendency, but that's just one I have. So, yeah, that's one of them.
What do you do to slow down?
You know what I do to slow down is I literally like to sit in front of the TV. And at the end of the night, I'm exhausted, but I love Netflix. I love TV. Ben, I've been texting you back and forth about some of these MMA fights. I've just really been infatuated with mixed martial arts and UFC. And it's just, I've watched basketball, football, baseball forever. And all of a sudden, I really got into studying it, look at it. I mean, if I got on the mat with anybody, I'd get my ass kicked, and I still remember the time I tried to take on Ben. He had me in some Japanese wizard real quick. I quit in like 10 seconds. I was like, so I don't know how to fight, but that's what I've been doing lately is, even though it's like an aggressive sport, even watching old fights. And I just like how, the fighting, what they go through, how they train for it, their personal life, just the intensity that's in that octagon. It just, that, I guess I'm letting myself go into their world and kind of forgetting about mine and seeing what they're doing at such a high intensity.
That's cool.
So who's your fighter right now? If you had to pick one.
Actually, one of my favorite fighters is Rose Namajunas she's the strawweight champ.
Mm-hmm.
I just think she's this amazing fighter. And then also, I knew him before, Daniel Cormier, just because I like his fighting style. And then, after Stipe won, he's awesome. Some of the old school guys too, I still like a Chuck Liddell and things like that. But
those are the heydays, man. That's a heyday.
So there's a lot of people. Crazy days. It seems like every time I watch a fight, I'm like, man, I really like that guy. I really like that guy. Like even Khabib, I think he should fight Conor. I mean, I like Conor. Conor, he's crazy, but you know what? He gets people's attention and he can fight, so he can back it up.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I still like John Jones, but he's just got to get his life together. I hope he can. But I mean, I could go on and on and on. I like a lot of those trainers or those fighters. There's a ton of them I like.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. So in the last 5 years, what new belief or behavior kind of has improved your life the most?
I think that one thing I believe that, and it's one of the toughest thing about owning a business is trying to understand what my other employees are going through. Because I came up thinking you had to work long hours, you had to kill yourself, you got to outwork people, which, is true in some respects, but I had to understand that not everybody wants that. That's not everybody's goal and dream, is to work 80 hours a week and build a business and do all that type of thing like I did. And so understanding what people really value from an employee standpoint is something that I've had to think about, and understanding how I can help them for the current situation where we're at. And understanding that people aren't going to stay forever. We've had we had 7 or 8 trainers leave last year, not on bad terms, but they're going off to do their own thing, whether it's grad school, medical school, moving to another state. That's something I've had to accept. And, I think, oh, you got to stay here as a trainer and you got to grind and you got to earn your keep and stuff. And there's some truth to that, but understanding that's not everybody's goal. So while they're here, how can I guide them and help them not only be a good trainer at State of Fitness, but how can I help give them some skills that they can take with them? So that's been one.
I read a stat the other day that 98% of people don't have ambition. 98% of people just like being told what to do and like how to just here it is, do it. Not like have to think about it and be like a business owner, entrepreneur, kind of like you said. And I think 98% of CEOs or people who own businesses won't say what you just said. And I think that's the biggest difference between you and a lot of people I've met is I remember when I left State of Fitness and I watched in your office, like shaking in my boots because I felt so like ashamed. I felt like I should be doing this. And like instantly he was like, just go. Yeah. I mean, dude, I knew it was coming. But like when that happened to me, it changed my life. And I've always told myself that your legacy is going to live on because I've had trainers leave me too. And now it's the same thing. It's like, in the end, man, I mean, how much you can impact a person, how they remember you. Like if you can get pissed at someone for leaving your company, or you can look at like, hey, I helped you get there and, I wish you the best of luck. I think that's a big difference between you and a lot of people. So props to you on that.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ben. One thing, Rick Mayo, another guy I consider a mentor, he owns Alloy Training Solutions, and he's got one of the most successful training clubs in the country down in Atlanta, Georgia. He's kind of said, look, our place is kind of like a river as opposed to a pond. Maybe a big corporate company is a pond where they have to, that employee will stay there. They'll nurture them. They got to take care of them, just like a pond. If it's in your backyard, you got to take care of it. It's one spot, staying in one spot. It's not moving. Whereas our business, to some extent, is a river where people kind of come along that river. You help them out, but then you lead and grow them, and they kind of keep going on down the river. So, having that mindset, with that really helps us develop our employees and understand what we're going to do in the future.
That's good. I like it. I like the analogy. What advice would you give to a smart, driven college graduate?
A smart, driven college graduate. Well, depending on what they want to go into, I think that they just need to go out there and get experience and understand that what they want may not be what they're going to get right in the beginning, and that, go out, try different things, meet different people, whatever industry you're in, and try to learn from those people, absorb everything. Keep such an open mind that when you walk in that door, it's okay if you're not working for a ton of money. You have to look at it as, okay, what valuable connections or network or what valuable skills am I going to get? Not necessarily always thinking about the dollar, because it's super easy to think about the dollar because we want to make money. But, can this, certain job, internship, mentorship, whatever, be something that I can use in my arsenal going forward? So not always looking at a job as what I'm going to earn for money, but is it going to give me more valuable skills to push me along my whole career?
I like it.
Pretty common theme too that we've had with everybody. With
all of our guests on the show, that's what a lot of them say.
Yeah. It's just kind of, what it is. I mean, people I've been guilty of this too, saying, oh, millennials this, and, they don't want to work hard and they just want to have an experience. But, that's what it is. Maybe they have it right. Maybe they, understanding to have these experiences and not kill themselves at work just hard enough and try to figure themselves out and kind of fail a little bit in their 20s. By the time you get in your 30s, you kind of have a better perspective on what you really want in your life. And, in your 20s, you're still figuring it out. I remember the way I think from 25 to 30 and now 36, I mean, you have different thoughts when you have kids and et cetera, so you got to try things out and but always give it your best shot. Even if you're working at Burger King or whether you're working, at a big training facility, you got to give it 110 each time.
Hell yeah. I love it.
All right. So kind of switching gears a little bit here. What's your, but what is a bad recommendation in health and fitness that you just can't stand? Like I guess not your favorite one, but, one that you hear all the time and you're just like, can't stand this?
That's a good question because, now with the internet and social media, the consumer's way more educated and there's so many more options out there. And, there's good advice and there's bad advice. But from the majority, is what I see is people are well-intended. I think that most people, there's an internet trainer, a trainer at the health club, they're well-intended. They're trying to help people and they're also trying to make money. I guess to answer the question is, the thing that gets me is, do you have the experience and do you have the knowledge and have you been mentored by somebody where you have those skills to tell someone else what to do? And so, for instance, and there's no offense to any of these people because I know they're well-intended, is say like a Beachbody type coach, right? Say it's a school teacher or a nurse or whatever, doesn't matter. And they're like, I want to, make some extra money, but I also love health and fitness and I want to help people. That's great. You want to help people. But I feel that when you're dealing with people's bodies, dealing with their health, you've got to go get some experience. You've got to go get some education. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a 4-year degree in kinesiology. It doesn't even mean that you have to have every certification in the world. What it means is that you've got to go to somebody that's done it before. And you've got to take at least 4, 6, whatever months to go work underneath that person so you have some experiences and you've learned from those people. So that's what I don't like about it, is people aren't really going to get the knowledge and experience that it takes. And it takes a good 2, 3, 4 years to say, you know what, I kind of know what I'm doing now. First year, 2 or 3, it's just a whirlwind. I know you've been a trainer for 3+ years and you've probably learned more in those 3 years than you ever thought you would. And now you're probably thinking, oh, I kind of know what I'm doing now. I feel pretty confident. I feel comfortable. Not that you're stopping at that. It's just now you probably look at yourself 3 years ago, it's a totally different person. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I don't like is the people that are selling the multi-level marketing things, and just because they're going to make money, they don't really have that experience.
Yeah, I would agree.
Agree 100%.
I knew that a little bit, but this past year, I've just trying to find online training for myself because I wanted to be coached and being more busy. I still work out at the gym, but I wanted I need someone to give me a program for accountability. And the top trainers that you see on TV, I mean, these big time trainers, like you look at the programs, god awful, like just terrible. And it's not like, I mean, not like the big time trainers, but like the ones you're talking about who have like maybe 1 to 2 years experience. Oh, I like getting in shape. I like health and fitness. I just made it my job. Like what sucks about that is like, I saw those programs and I'm like, I have a master's degree in this and I'm getting overwhelmed and complicated. So I can't imagine what the common person out there is experiencing. And then the worst part about that is they end up worse than they were before. So it's not really helping anybody out. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But now my coach is John Papp. He writes my workouts for me.
Yeah.
The kid's getting good, man.
Nice. There's something to be said about that. I've done some of my better training when I've had a coach. I got into Olympic lifting. I really had no idea what I was doing. So I hired a coach, Will Fleming. And going through that was like, wow, okay, this is what I need to do. I'm supposed to do exactly what this dude tells me. So I'm probably ready for that again. I've had other people I consult with, like there's a chiropractor that does a lot of cool stuff because I'm working on my hip, and a physical therapist I've worked with. So I definitely consult with those guys to help myself out for sure. Because or else I'll be back squat, bench press, deadlifting every day, and that's not what my body needs right now.
Yeah, now when you had 2 hip surgeries, man.
Yeah, it's getting better though. I'm doing some things called by Dr. Andrea Spina, or Spina, I forgot how he pronounces it. And there's a new thing called kinestretch. And so I've been doing some stuff there, and that's really helped fill in some gaps of like what's going on with my hip. And so I've been really excited because it's the first time I'm actually starting not to feel that pinching and that pain. So I'm pretty excited with that. You got to look for other people. I was trying to think of all my own stuff, and it wasn't working, so I sought somewhere else.
That's something you said right there.
That's what you need. In
the last 5 years, what have you become better at saying no to? Could be distractions, could be people, could be opportunities.
No to like writing gigs. So, like 2012, 2013, I was really into writing. And I thought that was kind of what I wanted to do. And that's just, and I've done a ton of it and I've learned a lot. I mean, I was a dude that barely got through my first writing class in college, right? So I think since I've written hundreds of articles, it's helped me become a better writer and a better communicator. But to be a big fitness writer, I don't think I want to do it still. Like I referred you to a guy I work with. I think that you need to go with him and write for him. He's given me so much work, but almost to the point where I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So saying no to those gigs, because I have to make sure that I'm delegating my time right. And then also saying no to training clients, and not undermining my price for what I charge. So those are two things that I've definitely worked on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot to chew on right there. That's good though.
Yeah. I'm pretty long-winded, Ben. So,
What's up?
I'm pretty long-winded and I can talk all day. So
no, I can't process things that fast. You know that. I remember how many times I used to work for Justin Big Ben. Are you listening to me or what? And I'm like, yeah, you just chill out.
I think I got you when you were in your wrestling days. I think you got your head banged a couple times.
Yeah, you had me like the heydays of concussions. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's no joke, man.
All right. So last question here. Kind of answered this already, but kind of go in more detail. So when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, I mean, you said you like to watch TV. Is there any other strategies you have? Like, do you meditate? Do you, take vacations, like make yourself take vacations? Like kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, it's probably something I need to work on as far as handling that stress and being overwhelmed. Sometimes I just tackle it with doing more stuff. But, deep breathing sounds funny, but I definitely believe in, the deep breathing. I come from, I've worked a lot with the functional movement systems and Lee Burton and that team over there and understanding how they've presented, deep breathing and getting the parasympathetic, system, recharged. And so I think I utilize that quite a bit, whether I'm driving in the car, whether I'm at a desk. And, so that actually, I really feel it helps. Other than that, I probably need to do a better job at that, quite honestly, is, I kind of let it sit on my shoulders and sit there. So that's something I probably need to work on a little bit more.
What's a daytime routine for you? Like what time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up?
Well, I'll give you the most days of the week. A couple of days are different, but most days of the week is I'll try to get to bed by like 9 or 10 if I can. Sometimes I always work out because 3 of the days of the week I'm up at 4 a.m. and I work out before my first session. So I'll get up about 3:45 around there, work out real quick, and then start training because I'm still training a little bit, quite a bit actually right now. I have some private clients and also, we're a little bit short staffed. We have some people on maternity and things like that. So I'll train. And within that time, I'll have other small assignments, whether it's emails, whether it's getting a blog up, whether it's doing a video, something like that, doing a post on social. Maybe it's a consulting call. It's kind of a mixed bag each day.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, it's kind of I'm balancing a lot of things out. And right now I'm doing a lot of presentations, a lot of speaking. And so I have to do a lot of slides for keynotes and things like that. So it depends on the day. If it's a mixture of that, training, managing things at the club, social media, getting ready for presentations, and then I get a lot of people reaching out just to talk, ask questions, and that can bog you up, whether it's a message on IG or an email. So balancing all that out. Then it's home time. Get home, and whether the kids have an event, we'll do that. Or it's, hanging out with kids, playing, having fun. And then the whole bedtime routine, as what Ben knows, what you're doing with your kids. So that's kind of the day. And then, it's bedtime after that.
So how many hours, you probably don't calculate this because you're not the type of person to do this, but on average, do you even realize how many hours a week you work?
It's just all flows together. And as a business owner, you're always kind of working to an extent, especially with your phone and computers. You're always, answering messages or whatever, writing something or building something or, looking at a policy or procedure you have at the gym or an event or whatever, so I don't really calculate it. Yeah, I know I'm at the gym. I would say physically in the gym, probably 40 hours a week, physically here, give or take, depending on the week if I'm traveling and things like that. So if you had to calculate how many hours of week of work, I mean, it's probably, 40 to 60 hours, something like that. It all kind of runs together.
Yeah.
So,
it kind of never stops.
I feel like if you're going to be good at what you do, it can't stop.
Yeah.
Like there's, it can't just be, I'm only working when I'm at work or, for this set block.
Yeah. And Justin, I'm going to turn 30 this year. I don't know if you knew that. So I've been, like you said, you go through different phases of life and you experience different things. And I've seen a lot of guys, especially your age, like, the 36, mid-30s, 40s, and they're entrepreneurs and the business owners. There's few guys, very far and few guys, who do the amount of stuff that you do. I mean, you just said blogs, all this, policy, procedures, like you're working more in that. But the one thing that stands out to me, which I noticed, is that when I called you one day, you're like, yeah, I coach my kids' teams. We go to my kids' events. Like, you're so much involved as a parent. And honestly, man, like, from my view, that's super, super rare. So,
yeah, one thing that we have with, building this business now is you have some autonomy with your schedule. So if I don't want to be here in the evening, I try to make my schedule like that, so that, I don't mind working a lot in the morning. If you get up at 4 a.m. and work till 3 p.m., it's still a pretty full day. But then now I have all those hours where we can, I can do stuff with my kids, and, I enjoy it. That's kind of, it's they're definitely a handful, that's for sure. But, I definitely want to be there for their sports and things like that, coach them and go to their games or swimming practice or whatever it is. So,
I know I've said it like 5 times, but it goes back to legacy, and that's why you are who you are. But hey, speaking of who you are, I didn't tell you about this part of the podcast, so fasten your seatbelt. This is the speed round. So we're going to ask you some questions. You got to answer just really quick. They're very simple questions, but it's really going to allow us to see who the real Justin Grinnell is. You ready?
Sure.
Good.
Yeah,
all
go
right.
ahead.
Number 1, let's start off easy. Can pineapples go on pizza?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Number 2, Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Whoa.
That was quick. Usually people are like, I don't know.
All right, favorite Tupac song?
Oh, man. Whew.
All of them.
Anything for the double disc, All Eyes on Me. Every single song is good. It's hard to pick. But Machiavelli, that CD is sweet too.
Justin's good, man. Streets of Lansing.
What I grew up on. Tupac. Well, we listened to a lot more Tupac than Biggie. He had a lot more stuff, so he had a lot more songs. But definitely, respect to Biggie. Definitely would listen to him too.
Hey, I thought about you, man. I watched Straight Outta Compton the other day, so I was like, "This is where Justin grew up, man. Mid-'90s, right here." Were you NWA fan?
Yeah, Eazy-E. I kind of started listening to rap kind of right when that was kind of 5th, 6th grade. I started listening to more rap. Still had that alternative rap thing.
Hey, Justin was hood as shit, man. He was hood as shit. A lot of people don't know, but he was on the state championship basketball team in Lansing. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, we were number 20th in the country.
Wow.
We got inducted to I got it right here. We got a basketball Hall of Fame, Greater Lansing, right there. So don't worry. I didn't play much. But
hey,
I was on the
there,
squad.
though.
I was on the squad.
That's right. All right.
Oh, wait, I got this. Favorite movie?
Oh, come on. Too many movies. Favorite movie? Like sports movie, regular movie? My favorite,
movie.
You got one movie to watch.
My favorite kids movie was Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
That was one of my favorite kids movie. That's a hard question because how do you nail down one movie that you like?
I know, right?
So, any of those sports movies are inspiring. My brother watched Major League probably 100 times when he was growing up. He was a baseball guy.
That's a good movie.
I have memories of that movie. Man, that's a tough question. Sorry. I gave you a couple, though.
Yeah,
all right, this next one's the best, though.
All right, if you could be a member of any 90s music group, you're in the band, you're in the group, you're performing on stage, who would it be?
In Sync with JT. For sure. In Sync, for sure. But I'll tell you a story, though. I'm on the board for Retro Fitness, and Jordan Knight from New Kids on the Block, he owns a couple Retro Fitness gyms.
He does?
Yeah, and I over in Rhode Island, and I was at the mega conference they had, and I'm sitting there. We're on the set of Indiana Jones at Disney World. I look over. I'm like, that's Jordan Knight. He's at my table. So he was super quiet, but I got to know him a little bit.
How many kids were New Kids on the Block?
I think like 5. They made more money in the past 5 years than they did ever when they were younger because they're because they still tour, and their manager took all their money. Those all sob stories. I ain't feeling too bad for them though.
Yeah.
So how old are you when New Kids on the Block were big?
I was like 9, maybe 8,
damn.
9, 10.
So you had like the tapes and stuff.
Oh yeah, big buttons.
Yeah. All right. Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Open up a text message.
What?
And go to your emojis.
Like just any text message, right?
Yeah, any text message, as long as you get to your emojis.
Okay. Yeah.
And then go to your frequently used. So if you see those, see where my flame is.
Yeah.
I want you to go down and read yours out.
All right. Got the muscle, the thank you, the fist bump, smiley face. I got a baseball in there because I used to use baseball. Someone sad crying, a guy lifting weights, a clap, fingers crossed, and for some reason I got an ant.
An ant. There we go. That's the first ant.
A spider. Or a spider. I don't know why I have a spider.
Loves nature.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. John, do you have any more questions before we go? We're going to wrap this podcast up here.
No, man. Unless you do, man. Where can we find you?
Where can we find Justin Grinnell?
Well, a regular location is in East Lansing. We've got a corporate location, also in Okemos. We've got a couple locations. mystateoffitness.com. Yeah, I post mostly on IG, so you go to Grinnell Training on IG. But I also have that on Facebook as well. But State of Fitness, IG, Facebook, so that's where I would go to. That's our spot.
Awesome.
All right, man. Before we go, we got to give you a huge shout out because Maddie Couch is the shit.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for stealing her.
She's doing really, really well. Shout out to Eric.
She's kicking ass.
But also before I go, hopefully some State of Fitness people are watching this. Rick Lash, hopefully you're exercising and getting off your ass and listen to this. But all the people at State of Fitness, I miss you guys. You guys are awesome. And hope to see you guys soon.
Anytime you pop in.
All right, brother. We'll see you soon, Justin. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Right, man. Thanks, guys. B squared, Ben Boudro.
That's right.